Wall Street. Now, I want to talk about my opponent a little bit today because I have been pretty available to the people of Ohio. I've been to Huber Heights before. This is not the first time I've been here, Mayor.
Right.
It won't be the last time I've been here. I was in Lima earlier today. I was in Maumee earlier today. I'm all over Ohio. And when I go throughout Ohio, I let folks like this, the media, ask me questions. My opponent is sort of a stealth candidate right now. He's sort of hiding. And people don't know a lot about him. And I think he's doing that because he don't want people to know what his record is. Now, I was in Congress for 12 years. John Kasich was in Congress for 18 years. So we have records that people can look at and see what we've done. I've got a record as governor. And so we can compare. John Kasich would like this to be a contest between Ed Strickland and the economy. But it's a contest between Ed Strickland and John Kasich. Because let me tell you about this guy. Some things that you may or may not know, but you need to know. When he was in Congress, he was chair of the House Budget Committee. When Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House. And by the way, I understand Newt was here yesterday, right? Well, I want to talk about that a little more. Because I understand they were at Sinclair College and they were talking about the need to educate our children, to give them the skills they need in order to gain employment, and they were talking about the need to create jobs, weren't they? Well, let me tell you what happened under Newt Gingrich and John Kasich. John Kasich put forth a budget that did some pretty terrible things. But before he even was budget director, he cast a lot of votes. He voted for NAFTA. He voted for giving China most favored nation trade status. We were in Congress together. He voted for those bills. I voted against them because I felt that they would take jobs out of Ohio and out of America, and my friends, they did. We all know that. Many of our manufacturing jobs went off to Mexico and to China and to other places around the world. So there's a difference between Ed Strickland and John Kasich. But even worse than that, he comes to Sinclair College and he wants to talk about the need to help students. Let me tell you what else he did as a congressman. He tried to eliminate trade adjustment assistance. Now, what is trade adjustment assistance? You see, there's a federal program called TAA, Trade Adjustment Assistance, and it provides resources to workers who have lost their jobs because of the unfair trade practices. So any worker that has lost a job because of trade is able to get resources through the TAA to help them go back to school, to get retraining, to go to a place like Sinclair College, so that they're more able to compete for another job. John Kasich tried to eliminate that program. So not only did he vote to outsource jobs, he voted to take away resources from unemployed workers who had lost their jobs as a result of their job being outsourced. He also voted to reduce dramatically student loans and student aid. Now, he probably didn't say that when he was at Sinclair College yesterday, and I suppose that former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, didn't talk about that either. But that's a part of his record. I invite you, I invite the press to look at his record. Look at those budgets that he submitted and tried to get passed, and you'll see that. But he did some other things, my friends. He voted to allow really wealthy people. I'm talking about billionaires and millionaires. I don't think probably there are many people like that in this room. But he voted to let people like that to take advantage of a tax loophole that said they could avoid paying taxes if they would renounce their American citizenship. And a lot of people did that. And it cost this government about $7 billion, allowing people to turn their backs on their country, renounce their citizenship, so that they wouldn't have to pay taxes. Now you think, well, that's so crazy. Maybe he just made a mistake. and didn't realize what he was doing. But let me tell you, he didn't vote that way once. He voted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time to allow these wealthy people to escape taxes by renouncing their citizenship. You know, it really troubles me. Are there any veterans in this room?
Right here.
Thank you, guys, for your service. Now, this is the point I want to make. These wealthy people got rich by enjoying the freedoms and the protections that this country gave them. And they were so unpatriotic in their attitudes that they literally gave up their citizenship after making their money so that they wouldn't have to pay taxes. And John Kasich supported that. What else did he support? Gosh, you could go on and on and on. He voted against raising the minimum wage when he was a congressman. So let me tell you what John Kasich did last year. He made about $1.2 million last year. You know how long it would take a minimum wage worker to work to make as much as he made in 1 year? It would take them about 95 years. Think of that. Well, he left Congress. What did he do? He went to work for Fox News. But he also went to work on Wall Street for an investment bank company called Lehman Brothers. Anyone in here heard of Lehman Brothers? Let me tell you about Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers went bankrupt after they had cooked the books, pulled all kinds of financial shenanigans. They went bankrupt, and it was the largest bankruptcy in American history. And John Kasich was one of their managing directors. Now he says, wait a minute, I just had this little two-person office in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not responsible for what Lehman Brothers did. He was a managing director. And in 2008, as Lehman Brothers was moving into bankruptcy, you know what John Kasich got? He got not only a hefty salary, but he got a bonus. The toss-up election right now. And a lot of people don't know his record. Now, I'm almost finished talking, but I want to say one thing before I do. He has made one major proposal. He doesn't talk much about what he would do, except in very general terms. But he's made one basic proposal, and that's that he wants to eliminate our state income tax. Now, let me tell you what the state income tax does. It provides 46% of the revenue that we have to operate our state with, to support our schools, our colleges, our libraries, down to all the rest of us. But let me tell you, I believe we've got to build this economy from the ground up. And that means investing in our workers,